The name should be familiar, possibly the face, because this guy has a long record for more than 20 years with the Saginaw Police Department, many of them with the canine unit, with his dog, Rookie, served at Ground Zero, searching for hopefully live people, but it didn't turn out that way, which is 20 years ago this week. Wrote a book. Where have you got the copy of the book there?
There, Michigan Rookie.
Yeah, Michigan Rookie, and it came out in 2011. Great read, by the way. For 4 years, worked as an animal cruelty officer at the Saginaw County Animal Control. And that's just sort of touching a lot, but we're here to talk not about all that strange as it may seem, because he's also the father of a movie star.
Yes. Two movie stars. One coming up and still in the...
So what he is doing now is training dogs to act in movies and actually a fun commercial. So we got Little Chief here, right? Or did we say little or little?
Little Chief, whatever.
Okay, yep. And last night, if any of you happen to see my note about it, the dog played a pivotal barking role in the Lifetime movie network movie called Secrets in the Snow. It was filmed actually in Michigan. And how long did it take to shoot that film? How long were the two of you on duty?
We were probably down there for about a month, on and off. Like, we'd go for a week, stop, come back, do the next week, stop, come back throughout the filming time.
Filming time.
Then you'd have to wait, and then they say, so it's not like 30 days, but in each week I might do 2 days of filming one day, come back for another 2, one day. It just depends.
So you get a script saying where the dog's needed and what the dog needs to do, correct?
Well, sort of.
No?
No? Not quite like that. A lot of times they'll come in and he's got his agents and, and same thing with Storm. Storm's got his agents now too.
Oh, no.
And what they do is they come across, and as stuff's coming in, they're in search of, they'll contact the agents. And a lot of it's through word of mouth too, what you'll see. So what happens is they'll say, hey, we're looking for a dog. Can you do this? This is what they're looking.
Okay.
They wanted a German Shepherd dog. So they approached me, and they'd heard about him from some of the other movies that he had done. And this is, do you think he would be able to do that? And I'm like, yeah. So I sent some stuff to them of little things that he's done.
Yep.
Like reels, they'll say, can you send him some footage reel of what he's done, like little things.
Yep.
And then they're like, yep, they like him, they want him. Okay, this is a date, we need you here, blah, blah, blah. I, on the other hand, a lot of times will ask the agent, I said, is there any way you can get a hold of the director? Or who's ever in charge, the PA, or the assistant. Can you give me a copy, or can they email me a copy of the scenes that they want them in? So a lot of times this might take a couple weeks in advance before I get down there, so I start working with my dog.
Okay, that makes sense.
And sometimes you may not. You get there and then you got to just
go with a flow.
So that's why they want the dogs to be on cue.
So I understand this dog has also appeared in a very ritzy commercial for a Cadillac Escalade. Is that it right there?
Yes. Got called for a Cadillac it was actually a vehicle type commercial. I don't know what it was, and I found it was with Cadillac for their 2021 Escalade. And what happened is that, we get there, and if you follow him on the Adventures of Little Chief, you can see him.
He has a Facebook page, people.
Yep, it's a Facebook page. And I kind of would tease everything when I would get a set. I would kind of show. So when we pulled up there, I didn't know what it was. I just knew I was doing a footage for a vehicle. So I kind of put it, well, then they had a semi sitting there, so I had to wait until it was time for filming, and then I kind of was snapping pictures, keeping people up, and they pulled out the 2021 Escalade, and I'm like, oh, wow. So we went from there, and they had to work with, the actor that he worked with was Leslie Gomez, and she was just fabulous working with them. So when I got there, I hurried up right away. Once I knew who it was, I introduced him to her.
Okay.
And then as she's getting ready and everything, I'm standing back and she's sitting next to her while they're doing her makeup in here. She's walking around like as if it's her dog.
So the dog gets familiar.
Gets used to and familiar with her.
Yep.
And
so
then,
you got paid, you got an Escalade, right?
No, I wish I had, but no.
Oh, well, you can always hope. Now, am I correct that this dog has been in upwards of 14 movies, not all released yet, but...
Correct. Total of, how it all started out, his very, very first movie was Warpath.
Okay.
And that was the movie that I was in.
Right there.
Right there.
Yep.
And I'm right there. If you can see, kind of zoom in, that's me.
Okay.
And then I'm on the set, and then they're like, "Hey, we need a dog. They're looking for a dog."
Oh, you were hired for
Yeah,
this.
I'm in it right there.
Yeah,
and then,
okay.
Next thing you know, they're saying, "We need a dog," and I thought they were just playing around. So I'm looking at the designers and the people that are there, and I'm like, "You're playing, right, Tessa?" She's like, "What?" I go, "You forget I'm a professional dog trainer. I have dogs." They're like, "Oh my God, Joaquin!
Wow.
Do you think Chief will do it?" At that time, he was only 7 months.
Oh.
So he got his first debut during that time frame, and he just launched from there. It went from there.
Wow.
So he was in it. That was his first movie, and it just started appearing. Then he did book trailers, which are kind of cool. That's a new thing. I don't know if you've heard about them.
Yeah, I have.
They'll do a little scene in there. So we've been in like 3 book trailers.
Wow.
We've been in just like short films. We've done movies like the Christmas Story. I've been in the Christmas Story, the Frankenmuth movie.
So how far have you had to travel for some of these?
A lot of it I've been very fortunate because Michigan, they've been doing them here, but I had to go out of state to Ohio and go there and do some movies.
So like the Escalade one was filmed here?
Filmed here, yeah. I had to go down to by the Detroit area.
Okay. So I see, obviously you were in a movie. You were also in The Hunting as in the dog. How many movies have you been in as well as the dog being in them?
Oh gosh, it's kind of
quite a few, huh?
Yeah, let me look.
Okay.
I mean, it's. I kind of had a list here I did up, so. And what it is a total. I had count. It was like a total of 14 that you would see, but a lot of them is like I did Jack London's Son of Wolf. That one still hasn't come out. That's in production. They're still waiting there. Then there's like another one that we would do. So each time a movie would come out, My Crimes. There's another one. I don't know if it's. We've got some of the boards that are up there. That's another one that they're still looking at. We did the teaser pilot, so that's still waiting to come out. Crookery was another one that they just released the official trailer, so that's supposed to be coming out this year sometime. I know Hunting's coming out in October. So that one right now is at the Beijing Film Festival.
I was going to say, you've been at, in Beijing Film Festival and something in Poland?
In Poland, they released
it. So wait, Hunting?
The Hunting. The Hunting. And then it's also just been released in Canada's film festival there. So it's working its way here, and I think what they want to do, when you see it, it's more or less like kind of a Halloween type, fits into that category. So I think that's why they're waiting for it to come into that here for the United States.
So where do you see the future with the two of you? What would you like to do?
Probably, to be honest, I'd rather the dogs be in the movie than me, but if I have to fill in like Crookery, I had to play a police canine officer.
Oh, gee, that
I had
must
to
have been
study really. I had to study really hard for that position, so I had to really work hard. And that one was there, and I worked it. They wanted me to work it. Like when we did Cadillac, he was with Chief. When we did the 21 Escalade, was with Leslie, so he can work with the people. Secrets in the Snow, the same thing. It's when you're working these set dogs. A lot of times he says, well, my dog can do this and he can do that, and they go in. Well, it's not that they can't do the little tricks. What they're looking for is if we're standing here like this is a set and we're filming for a movie, he has to remain just like you see him sitting here since we got here. And he hasn't moved. He can sit there and just be a dog and move around. But now if a camera comes in, like a boom, and it reaches down, the dog can't look up. He has to learn to it. And so when that couch scene, in Secrets of the Snow, when she goes to fill her water bottle and she goes, Ace, and then she pats him on the head, there's a boom that goes right over their heads so they can hear everything. So those set crew people are moving around, and they call it the world, is very tiny. It's not big. So that dog has to be able to sit still
react to that
and then look for my cues and to sit back and do that. So when you see in that movie, there's a lot that was going on, and we did those. You're talking a couple 100-yard recalls of that dog running with her chasing him and going to the scenes wherever it is. I don't want to wreck the movie for people that haven't seen it, but
we have a better ending, people. We have a better. So, as a trainer, are you? Obviously, you can't say anything vocally because that would be picked up. So, what are you giving? Are you very close to where the camera is, and you're giving hand signals?
Hand signals. A lot of times it could be through hopefully like a snap of the finger. If he's or treat, so I'll kind of make a motion, and I'll say watch, and then he's got to retarget on me, and then keep an eye on me while if I'm the actor and the dog's sitting off to the side, then he has to be focusing me and looking towards the camera. Along with all the other people doing the booms, he has to stay focused. So then when I tell him to sit, he sits. When I tell him to down, he downs, and I'm doing
it's hand gestures.
Hand gestures, but the people are sitting there.
Yep.
So he has to learn to work there. When we did Warpath, it was kind of, we got slung into that one, and all of a sudden you got horses going by, buggies with horses, little ducks they just let loose, and he's got to sit there and ignore all that. So the foundation work that I do with all my dogs, they have service dog training.
Okay.
So not the police service dog, the actual service dog.
Okay.
So my dogs are trained in service dog work because he's played a role as a blind dog, as a leader dog in a scene as the undercover officer poses as he's blind to make the drug bust for that book trailer, and Chief has to walk on that harness and act like he's the leader dog. So,
now, is it like most movies, they do the scene over and over and over? Does the dog ever get tired of it?
A lot of times what you try to do, and what I found out with is when they're working on the set, they want to try to get it, and we've been very fortunate, and I'm not just saying it because it's my dog, but we pretty much nailed it on one or two scenes. Because they'll block, and I didn't know that. They block for several hours.
I know.
Because animals are like children.
Yes.
They don't, you know what I mean? So that's why they call a sound dog. And you'll get people, my dog can do these multiple tricks. What happens if another dog walks by? Will he do that trick if that dog's sitting right there? You know what I mean? He has to learn to work through what's ever there, those distractions. And that's why the service dogs are, they got to learn to ignore all that stuff. So my foundation is very, very, how would you say, a rugged, because I'm starting them at 10 weeks and I'm going nonstop. They're getting around animals, they're getting around. My biggest test that I use when I do all my dogs is the Saginaw fireworks.
That would do it. Yeah, that would do it.
And they sleep through it.
Wow.
They just lay there.
Fireworks.
So grand finale is huge. That's the closest thing that I can depict to an actual battle scene, war scene, and the dogs just remain calm.
Okay.
And there's a lot of dogs there, but now you add in obedience, people, and everything. So as we work through a lot of that stuff is what we strive to get for him to be in the movies.
And how old is he now?
He'll be 4 actually, day 9/11. So I mean, and what's kind of neat about this little dog here is his dad has been probably deceased for over 30-some, about close to 30 years now.
Oh wow!
So he's 4.
Interesting.
Do you get it?
Too much information. I do.
So he's actually a cryogenic dog. Actually.
Okay.
So when they had saved it, and then he re-brought him back in 4 years ago when he was born.
And then what's Storm been? Has Storm been in?
Storm has done photo shoots right now. He just did a Little Red Riding Hood shoot.
Okay.
And then he just did a Renaissance.
Okay.
So a lot of them, he's working his way in there. So as we keep going, and like we just got done doing a photo shoot for a Renaissance shoot that we did with him as he played as he's got more of a woofy look. So they're walking
I was going to say,
through
what
and
kind
they're
is
doing
he then?
posting.
Is he, what kind of breed?
He's a Czechoslovakian Shepherd.
Oh, didn't know there was such a thing. Okay.
So that's what Chief is. He's Czechoslovakian.
Czechoslovakian, okay. What, in all the movies he's been in, Chief, what has been the biggest role?
Probably, there's a lot because he did The Last Superhero, which was a short film, which was basically based on him.
Oh.
And that one we did for the actual one was the Bay City Film Fest that we did for Hell's Half Mile.
Right.
And that was one where it was about him. And you know how Hell's Half Mile worked. You got X amount of things you got to do in there. So they based it on him. He was the last superhero. And how it was is he lived through time. So the dog never actually died. So what it was is he was, and you have to have certain little keys that you have to do, that there's certain key things you have to mention in these things that you have to use in that film. So in that process, when the director, for Hell's Half Mile, for when we did The Last Superhero, we had him do certain things, so we took him back in time, so we were able to get footage back in the riverfront in Bay City when they had him all out there. So he was with a lot of those actors, so we snapped pictures, and you could see when Tom Cox was one of the actors. He those last I heard, I think he was around. He's telling this nurse, they go, well, how old is that dog? and he's telling the nurse that the dog was like, well, rumor has it that he was around like back in the day. Yeah, like you're talking late 1700s, early 1800s, and she's kind of thinking because he's on a deathbed type thing that he's just talking delirious. So he's kind of going back, and then we show the footage of him at the River of Time in Bay City of the people that were there.
Fun.
And then he kind of comes back up to how he got me, and I was his handler, so I was in it.
Yep.
And then he's there, and then the key factor was the set of keys that he had, that every time he would drop those keys, you became the owner of him. So the nurse, after, I don't want to wreck it, she ends up getting him. So when you look it up and you see that one, it's kind of really interesting how we do that. And then even like Secrets in the Snow, that was a real tough one too because of what we were dealing with in that one.
Was that real snow or did they?
Oh, that was real snow.
That was real snow.
Because it was cold. We were out there running through the snow, and you just see them. And then there's some scenes where they use the fake snow.
Fake snow, yeah.
But yeah.
So you got anything coming up?
Right now we're waiting because a lot of it's just based on what's COVID. They're kind of, when you submit, you just wait and hear. We're waiting to hear back on some stuff. I know they're looking at wanting to work with me again on some other stuff. I know there may even possibly be a sequel to that.
Oh, okay.
So when the hunting comes out, I don't want to kind of wreck that, but the official trailer came out on that one. And it's posted on the Adventures of Little Chief's page, or you can look it up on YouTube.
Okay.
But there's multiple huntings. You got to make sure you get the right one.
I noticed that when I thought, wait a minute, that's too far back.
Yeah. So it's the, and as we do films, it's more, I have more fun doing that.
Yeah. So how, you don't always see the script. So a lot of it, all right, I can't figure out what I'm trying to ask. How much do you know going to a shoot what the dog has to do? And do you have to train it specifically, or is it so well trained?
So like there was another one that came up with this was like, it was probably too far for me to go for it. And, down. And he sees a tree.
He sees a tree. He's not stupid.
So then, so what they'll do is we need a German Shepherd, the dog, and they'll put specific, straight, strict lines. He needs to be able to walk with somebody at a heel. He needs to be able to bark on cue. He needs to be able to sit still and just be there. He has to be around. He needs to be sitting still when another dog walks in and not move and greet the other dog. So they come down. That's about basically you get, now submit your audition so we can take a look. Can you do that? They weed out whatever they can. They'll see it if they like it, because there's a certain look they're looking for. There's a couple of them, they're like, I've sent my footage of him. They're like, oh my God, we love him, we want him, but we need him to look more scroungy looking or more,
Same they do for actors.
Just rough looking or old looking. He's too young. They're like, they're bummed out about it because the dog is hitting the cues that they see him doing. Well, if he can do that, then they'll want him. But it's more or less based on how and what the director's capable of doing, because there's a certain look they want. They had one where his agent was like, you got the dog, I'm telling you right here. But the person who wrote the script wanted a lab. And they couldn't get a lab. They kept trying every time they had labs, and they're like, well, there's nothing really they can do. But they were so persistent. So a lot of times they'll just X the dog then.
Oh, wonderful.
And then they'll just, well, we won't use the dog in this.
Maybe change your mind of,
Yeah, so, that's what you would think, but a lot of times the directors, they want to stick close to what it is, because sometimes they could be doing somebody's story, and they didn't have a shepherd. Somebody go, they didn't have a shepherd, they had a lab. So,
So how long you said 4 years old, this is not like a police dog. He should be able to do this for a long time. Yeah.
And he plays police roles, search and rescue roles.
Yeah.
There's all just multiple just plain old family dog. Photo shoots. He's good with children, good with animals. We were up in McBain. We were doing some stuff up there at it's called Cowgate Rodeo, big rodeo there, and he's around a lot of that stuff, which is good. It desensitizes the dog, because I can't get that. I mean, you got dogs running around, you got horses, you got cows, you got lamb, you got everything, and him and Storm are just. So I take advantage of whatever I can to get them in there. It's not the amount of training that you put into them is every day, constantly.
Oh, I'm sure.
And it looks, and as people, we see that they don't, somebody who trains dog will know that person's got a lot of work in that dog.
Yeah.
Because you've been there and you know what they're doing to get them to do that.
Yeah.
Each dog has their strong points.
Yep.
So that's why a lot of times you'll see Disney use 3 or 4 different dogs.
Because they do different things.
Different things that they want.
So, can you run a few tests over here with him and can I, like you
Yeah,
might?
I'll do like a little speaking thing with him.
Okay.
Do a thing. Sit. Jeez. Come on, sit. Come here. Stay. Ready? Good job.
Okay.
So see how I had him
Yeah,
whisper?
yeah.
So that it was just more of the sit.
This is after I chew
Yeah,
on
sit.
sit.
Come on, wait, sit. Good job.
So
like if he's sitting there and I'd say watch.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
So now if I need him to DOWN, I have to say it, or if I give the verbal,
Yeah, yeah.
but I'll do a hand cue, so I just go. So, but that would be, if I was longer distance, it would be distance. So then you're working, and this a lot of like people say, well, that's just basic obedience. Yeah, it is. It's hand signals, but throw in
all the others.
the lights,
the boom.
people,
Yeah.
and those guys are running around. They're sitting there, smells.
I know.
Because you're going to be going outside, so you got to train in different elements to be able to do it. And that's why when there's specifics, a lot of times the casting agents that are looking for something, they'll specifically say, yes, we know your dogs can walk at it. And that's one lady wrote in there, we got these dogs that are super tight walking next to you and doing all this stuff. We want a dog that's just going to walk normal.
More normal.
At a heel, because you got people that are involved in competition work with Shih Tzu and police work in that they want a dog that's going to be more relaxed and not at ease, because that dog has to be sound. If, like Chief, anybody can step over him. So when these guys are there, they're working the booms, he just lays down, he knows to be able to be stepped over and not that. So there's
has he ever had a role where he's had to attack? I mean, have you?
What we've done is we've had him bark and growl and stuff.
So it's not like
actual physical stuff. And if they want to get into something like that, then they can bring in somebody.
Yeah.
And he could do it. It's just that a lot of times they're the movies that you do and they see it's however, like when you look at John Wick's, they had multiple Malinois that were in there that were training and doing all that stuff.
Okay.
So those are bite working dogs. They have the equipment on and everything like that. To say, can he do it? Yeah, but it's just there. Whenever they do it, like we were talking about that one scene, that would have been a good scene.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Darn. Anyway, so you also, for, what was it, since 2003 or something, had Apache Acres. So you've been training, you have a puppy boot camp over there.
Yes.
But you also train dogs. I think you told me about one that was just shipped to Arizona or something.
Yes, I've done service dogs.
So service
I did a
dogs. So
service
instead
dog.
of like the seeing eye thing, you do the
mobility type, people that have problems with, if they need a support dog or a mobile dog, or, it's not like a support dog for emotional support. These dogs are there to help with somebody's like going into a panic mode, to calm and to relax and so they're different. You got a mobility dog where the dog acts as the cane and walks with them. Right. So I do the foundation work for them, get them ready. Then the handler that came in, I knew her very well, and I don't want to go deep into it, but she ended up having some type of paralysis and what she went through, and then she had to learn how to re-walk and talk and do everything.
Wow.
So in order to get that, once you look at her on the outside, she looked fine because she was able to get through it. But her doctor says eventually down the road she was going to need a dog.
Okay.
So that's how I came in the picture. I knew her, and I said, well, let's see what we can do.
So do they pick the dog then, or?
What they do is we'll pick it to see what's going to go. I asked her, and what I want to say, it was like catered the dog to her, to what her needs were.
Yep.
So she liked Goldens, which already work great as service dogs. So that was half the back there, but it's finding the right Golden.
Oh.
So when I found the Golden that would work as a puppy, I says, look, it may not work, it may not, but I had to really dig and find, and so I put it through some tests as a pup. I'm like, okay, if it made this, I can work my way into it.
Wow.
So at 10 and a half weeks is when I went and looked at him, 10 weeks, and got it, it takes a harness, it has good little ball drive, it's not afraid, doing what I need to do to test him out. Then once I got it, I started working with it every day. Every day, a day in, from it being to be able to be crated, to be able to be fed, to be able to be walk, to be able to go to the bathroom on command, on leash, off leash. There's so much that a lot of people don't understand. Just because you just slap a vest on does not make that dog it. He has to be sound. We would go into the stores and walk at the heel with the grocery cart. She and I had to, because I can't, how would you say, customize the dog to her, so she goes to the beauty salon. So I had to go to the beauty salon, sit there with the head thing on, with the dog at the side. She does for her therapy, aquatics, so I had to go in the pool.
So you go on location to do this?
I was with the puppy doing that. She was never around. I'm doing this. I'm doing all this.
She wasn't around, but you're filling in for her.
I'm filling in for her and doing that so that dog is ready. So like when we're sitting there, I'm in there and people are kind of laughing. Finally, I see a lady jump. I go, "Can I put him next to you?"
Yeah.
On the leash, and I sit off to the side, and she's like, "Yeah." And they're washing the hair, and they're cutting, and they're doing the blow dryer, and then he's sitting there, and they're sweeping the hair, and he can't move when they're sweeping the hair. They're doing the blow dryer. I go, "Now blow the dryer."
Oh my God!
So the dog can't move. So each different thing, I go into the bathroom, hand dryer, dog sits there. Hand dryer, dog can't move. Dog's got to stay in the stall. Because she's the woman, so she has to sit dog have. So I got to take the dog in the stall with me. So everything that I'm doing is what I says, "Tell me what you do." And then she comes everything off. But we finally got her here once it was there. And then she worked with me for about 2 weeks. And then I said, "All right, this is what we're going to do. You're going to take off for a couple days, go up, visit your friends, do whatever you want, come back, we'll train again, go back off and take back. And then once you leave, I'll get you ready to get the dog ready to leave." And
that's that.
That was that.
Yeah. See, you didn't have to do that.
And he was right there by their sides. It was two or but yeah, he kind of helped them through the stuff because he was right there. So as I would go, they were learning to be around each other. And so, but we never would tell Brody that he was a golden. He thought he was a shepherd in his mind.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, he wasn't a cat or something. So. Okay, anything else you can think of? Because we're about a half hour here, which is about...
If somebody was interested and they want to get a signed book, I will be at Cops and Donuts on next Monday on the 13th from 9. So you get a donut too also. They're great. Those are great donuts.
Which one? The one in
Bay City?
The Bay
I'll
City
be in
one.
the Bay City one. So if they want to come out and get a signed copy, I'll be there doing autographs for the books and stuff, and they can meet Chief. And got any questions or anything, they're more than welcome to ask me questions and stuff like that.
Can you believe it's been 20 years?
Oh, I know. I sit back and I look, and a lot of times people wonder, well, whatever happened? You know, I lost a lot of friends. A lot of all the 9/11 dogs are gone. If anybody says they got a 9/11 dog, it ain't it. So there's so much that I think people have forgotten, because I think a lot of people have forgotten that I was even there. And
really?
Yeah. You would think I would get calls and that, and
I think
really
people don't want to remember. Maybe.
And it's just it's sad that that was but we can't, for us to be able to give honor where it's due, we got to not forget, and we got to constantly, even though people say, well, maybe he's afraid of not to talk about it. No, I'd rather talk about it because it's healing. The more and more that I talk about it, the more it is. And I've been truly, truly blessed. The Lord has blessed me tremendously in my career as a police officer, doing the things that I've done with the book, and then going into the movies and stuff. And you know what I mean? It's just worked with great people, the hunting, Peyton Hillis, and he's one of the big football players for the Kansas City Chiefs. We work side by side. Him and I are thinking he wants to work on some more stuff with me on some future projects, and hopefully when the Hunting 2 comes out, that's what they're talking about. They want to do like a sequel. Hopefully it'll go down that road. It just takes time. And that's that industry it's patience. It's long time.
And then COVID hits.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing back when you were a student at Eisenhower, which is now Heritage, you never guessed all this, did you?
No. And that's what's so crazy is because, I never thought in a million years, you think that whoever thought I would be doing acting, who thought he was going to be a police officer, let alone write a book, let alone go, do the things at 9/11 and do all that stuff. So I says, God has just literally blessed me and opened doors for me. And, I reach out, and those that are in that theater area for those high schools and schools, if they need us to come in and talk and share, let them know. Like at the high schools like Eisenhower and that, I'll be more than glad to come in with Chief and kind of share our experience on the sets and stuff so they kind of know what goes on.
So you live in, is it Hemlock?
Yep, out in Hemlock area. So, there's a lot of high schools.
Dead dog. Okay, I think that'll do it.
Yes.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much.